All right, everybody, welcome to the flip side. I just realized I have to go close my door, and if I don't do that, we might have some weird echoes and other kinds of stuff happening in the house. Okay, well, we have had a rather eventful Tuesday morning here in the Healy household. We have got school starting up this week, so I had to take the youngest, one of only two left in the house. The older teenager went yesterday to get all of his, fees paid and pick up the PE uniform and all of that kind of stuff. And the youngest, we had to do that this morning. And so went and did that. This morning at 8, got done with that at about 9. Completely done at about 9:30. Went to go pick up lunch for Jess. Delivered that to her. Got back here. Got this scheduled and carrying on a few conversations with people on Facebook about various things. Well, it's one of them ended. The other one may not have ended, but who knows? I just, our society today is filled with people that just don't agree with each other, and I want to do my best to continue the dialogue, and it encourages me when I find people who seem to be doing the right thing, but sometimes it just takes a few. Just takes a few, back and forth, exchanging of, and it just seems like that road ends, and it's disheartening because without dialogue, without discussion, without debate, without conversation, we'll just all back up into our little echo chambers, and nothing will get better. Societally speaking, nothing will get better. We'll just continue to be at odds with each other. We'll just continue to fire shots. We'll just continue to do this. Anyway, it's been an eventful morning. So we're just going to talk about board games now, and that will be good. Alter is here. What's up, Alter? Good to see you. Micah's here. Good to see you. Philip, hello. Peter Rowan is here. What's up? So do you. Yes, indeedly doodly. So do you. Stefan is here. Good to see you. Andrew Gunner is here. All right. Finally getting to our Blood Rage episode now that Valhalla is on crowdfunding, right? Wrong. So there you have that. 8 months. Alexander Meldrum has been a member for 8 months. You goonie! Yes, very cool. Ice cream is the best dessert. You can't debate me off this roof. Look, if you're on the roof eating ice cream, there's other things we can probably talk about. I will agree with you that ice cream is the best dessert until we can get some of those other things taken care of. So just don't do anything rash. Don't do anything rash, Alexander. Otter says, a late one today. Yes, it is. And that's because of all of the other stuff that we had going on. I only had a few moments before we left the house this morning, and I probably could have scheduled it before we left this morning, but we had to be over at the school at 8, and I didn't know how long that whole process was going to take. So I didn't want to schedule it for a certain time and then not get back on time. I wanted to get back, schedule it, and then go for it. Missed a couple of times, had a short vacation. Very cool, Alter. Alter, vacations are good. Plus some big reviews to write of big games. Slay the Spire, Sleeping Gods, and Core Space. Wow, those are big games. I've only played, out of those, I've only played Slay the Spire. That I think. Let's see. My guess for the first game is Viceroy. Terrier, you're just jumping the gun, man. Jeff is here. Good to see you. Well, wait, was it really? Wait, was what really? Yeah, it was a couple of months ago. Yes, that's correct. We have already gone over Blood Rage. And yes, it did make that whole statement a little bit less funny, but that's okay. We're used to your statements being a little less funny than everything else that's going on. It's okay, Andrew. Don't worry about it. Vanessa is here. What's up? Sam's Museum is open again. That's right, Stephen. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. I enjoyed the Wives Top 10 on Friday, Sam. Thank you. We enjoyed having them do that. We enjoy having that. That was a fun one for us to do as well. We enjoyed doing it. That's what I'm trying to say. As far as getting them to do their own stuff, because a couple of people commented on that, just realize that sometimes people don't want to be on camera, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, and I'm never going to make them be on camera. I'm never going to do that, and I don't. Even with, there's often times where I'll say, hey, JT, what do you want to play on Friday? And he'll be like, I don't know, you're the boss, you pick it. And I was like, but I want you to pick something that, I don't want to do a bunch of stuff, because I definitely have, looking around, I have plenty of content that needs to be made on plenty of titles around here. But I want there to be some kind of ownership in what we do here on the channel, and it's not just me that does it. So, the solo plays and the 2-player games that Jess and I play, yeah, I usually choose those, but that's because I know Jessie will enjoy doing it no matter what it is, as long as, I choose games that are going to be things that she'll be able to enjoy. So it just maybe that will happen in the future, maybe, but I'm not going to force it. I'm not going to rush it. If it happens, it'll happen organically, and it'll be better for it. So there you have that. I am on day 2 of vacation. Again, Vanessa? How many vacations you take a year, girl? Shoo. Ash and I both enjoyed watching the Wife's Top 10. That was a really cool idea. It was actually JT's wife's idea, Mel's idea. It was Mel's idea. So, and again, that was another issue, kind of thing where I'm like, okay, what do we want to do? Let's talk about it. What do we want to do? Because I can come up with a bunch of stupid ideas, but other people will come up with ideas that I won't think about. And so I always like to kind of bounce that off of people. And, often it comes in, I don't know, we'll do whatever you want to do. And I'm like, no, it's not what I want. But it was a great subject. It was a great topic. I think we've got another cool one. We're going to do a couple of more. The next 2 are going to be, this one that we just recorded was right down JT's alley, and it was heavy games. So games that are 3.5 complexity on the Geek or higher. And then we've already done a light games category list, and then the next one's going to be or maybe we've already done the family games. I don't know. We're going to do midweights next, I think, because I think we've already done lightweight games. But we can push him. No, don't push him off the roof. Chris Mayfield is here. What's up? What's up? Beetle Bailey's chef used to sit on the roof when someone insulted his food. Yeah, I know. I remember that. I used to read that comic. That's a great comic. Sans ice cream. Yeah, that's true. Is Juha here? I don't know who Juha is. Micah. Champions of Midgard. Nope, not going to be it. Chris Mayfield says, 3rd Rock from the Sun was set on the roof almost every episode. Ah, that's cool. Wives Top 10, I missed that somehow. It was just this last Friday. I don't want to be on camera. Okay, Peter. Okay, Sam. I will play on camera with you. You finally broken me down. Just fly me out there and I'll do it. You can stop me begging now. I'm not begging nothing, bruh. I don't know if I could get used to talking to a camera. You absolutely could. I got used to it. You can get used to it. Pity you missed it. Surprising pics plus great fun to watch. I never want to be on camera. Vanessa says the girl who wants to start a travel channel. That would be a cool thing to do. That would be cool. My next vacation is moose hunting in September. I'll always take a week for that. Wow. Moose hunting. Man, that's a lot of meat, brother. I go on as many vacations as possible. Alexander says, I have been on camera. I see myself on the Walmart cameras every time I go by. That's funny. I'm visiting my aunt and uncle in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Awesome. Enjoy your time with family, Vanessa. Philip says, avoided looking at security cameras too. Don't want those extra 10 pounds. My guess is at least one game will be from 2017. Huh, interesting. That is wicked crazy, dude. That's wicked crazy, because you're right. We're going to do that one first. All right, so for those uninitiated that maybe don't have an idea what we're doing here, what I do is I take a couple of games off of my shelf every Tuesday and we talk about them. These are usually older games. Older games means that they are at least 5 years old or older. And basically the whole premise behind this is that we give the limelight back to some games that are still good, in my opinion, and I still keep them in my collection, at least for now. It doesn't mean that I won't ever cull them, or it doesn't mean that I won't ever otherwise get rid of them. But for now, they're in my collection, and I still consider them to be good games, and ones that, at this point, you might be able to find them in a bargain bin or at a thrift store or something to that effect, that and you might be able to get them for a good price, or on a final sale type thing. I don't know. Anyway, that's what we do here. Now, to make it a little bit fun, is we do a contest on both of the games that we talk about. We talk about 2 games, and both of those games we're going to give you, the audience, the opportunity to try to guess what game we're about to go over. And I'll give you a few clues, and you can use those clues and go to BGG or Google or whatever foo that you wish to take advantage of there, and try to guess first. The person who guesses first correctly the game that we're about to talk about will get a surprise package from the Flipside of Board Games. We'll send you a little package in the mail. You'll email me at flipsideobg@gmail.com and send me your shipping information, and I'll send you a package that will have a couple of stickers in it, and it'll also have a board game related thing of some kind. Maybe it'll be an expansion. Maybe it'll be a really neat accessory. Maybe it'll be something that in the future I print on my 3D printer that I thought was pretty cool. Maybe it'll be a game or something to that effect. The only clarification that I want to make is that we generally speaking aren't going to be sending you the game that we talk about. That has been a point of confusion in the recent past, and so I just want to make sure that I clarify that. I'm not going to be sending you the game that you guess correctly. I'm going to be sending you something else, because the game that you guess correctly is, for at least now, staying in my collection. And that is that. So without further ado, let's see here. I actually enjoyed the pool and visited buses. We have been watching, Jesse and I have been watching Dom and Billy Eat the World, which is a series on, I want to say it was Amazon Prime, where 2 of the hobbits from Lord of the Rings, who became great friends on set, are now traveling the world to different places and going to different restaurants and doing that kind of thing. And it's been a very fun experience. And their most recent episode, they were in Texas. And the most recent episode, they actually went to a Buc-ee's, or Buc-ee's, however you want to pronounce it. Buses. So yes, Buc-ee's is, I'm from Texas, and I've never been to a Buc-ee's. I think they became popular after I moved away from Texas, and I've lived longer outside of Texas than I have, when you look at my lifetime. So it makes sense that it didn't come until after I left. But I'm from Texas. I consider myself a Texan. You can take Texas, you can take the boy out of Texas, but you can never take Texas out of the boy. That kind of thing. And I've never been to a Buc-ee's or Buc-ee's, whatever you want to call it. Let's see here. I think we are quite old, Micah says, because we don't want to be on camera. Youth is nothing but on camera nowadays. That's true. You always pick games from 2017. You be quiet. I just pull stuff off the shelf and make sure they're 5 years old or older. You leave me alone. Let's see. Not that big of a stretch. A lot of the games recently hailed from that year. That is true. The Spirit of Eric says 2017 TI4. The game belongs in a museum, not your game collection. Yes, that's probably true. Did you ever play Space Hulk? Why are you throwing me out there, bro? Why are you asking me things that are going to put me out like that? No, I haven't played Space Hulk yet. It's definitely not pronounced Bussies. How do you know? How do you know? I think it's Bussies. I thought you considered yourself a Viking. No, I don't. I don't even have. I mean, I do have an Irish heritage, which means that there possibly, maybe, could be some Vikings lineage DNA in there, but I don't know of it. So no, I've never considered myself a Viking. I just enjoy Viking lore, Viking history. Yeah. There's a lot about Vikings that I don't like and that I didn't care for, but it intrigues me. It interests me. It's definitely not pronounced Bussies. How do you know, Vanessa? It was my dad's first visit to Bussies. He loved it. I'm going to keep pronouncing it Bussies now that you said that. I forgive you. Well, thank you, Jedi Dalek. Let's see here. All right, well, let's go ahead and get to it. We're going to go ahead and give you since it's already been said, the first game hails from the year 2017. And a couple of the mechanisms, because that's the second clue I give you. A couple of the mechanisms are variable player powers and take that. Variable player powers and take that. Those are the two. So go ahead and get to it. Yeah. He keeps talking. He's more of a descendant of Genghis Khan? What? I've been trying to get my hands on Space Hulk for the longest time. It's rare and therefore ridiculously expensive here in the Netherlands. That's one of the reasons I have not gotten rid of mine, because frankly, usually if I keep a game this long and having never played it, I will usually get rid of it. But that's one of the ones that I'm like, no, not getting rid of that, because if I ever want to get it back, I'm going to have to pay through the nose. So I did not get rid of it. Scott says, good, I was 17 minutes late and I haven't missed the first game. That is correct. Thanks for not getting on with it. You're correct. Well, I mean, Eric's not here, so he wasn't pushing me toward the edge. Let's see. Ricardo. Genghis Khan, more like a descendant of Ricardo Montalban Khan. Here we go. Let's see. Spirit Island. No! Kingsburg, 2nd edition. Fate of the Elder Gods. No, Philip. Incorrect. Breaking Bad, Philip says. No. Stop Thief. No. Stop Thief. No. Summit. No. Manhattan Project. 2 minutes to midnight. No. 4IT. No, Micah. Light Seekers. Ding. Thank you for playing. No. good old mudslide. A sugar-free protein mudslide. That's what I got up in here right here. It's good stuff. I would love to say it's from buses, but it's not. Stop Thief has already been guessed twice by 2 different people. No, Andrew, you are correct. Mist, you are incorrect. Mistborn, incorrect. I wasn't paying attention. Dice Forge, Alexander says. No. Gloomhaven, no. Although Dice Forge is really fun. Gloomhaven, not so much. Immortal, no. Wow, you guys are having trouble with this. I mean, for having having dibs on the year, I thought you would like knock this out of the park really fast. But so far, not so. Are you sure it's not Stop Thief? I feel like it is. It isn't. I guarantee you. Wait, let me check. Nope, it isn't. Escape the Dark Castle. Mazmora. No. No. To both of those. Do I have to give you? Fuse. No, Chris. Good try, though. What were the clues? Ryan isn't here. The coffee shop I went to this morning was playing Master of Puppets when I walked in. What? Wow. Are you serious? That reminds me of a joke. It wasn't really a joke. It was more like a cartoon where people are like walking around in the grocery store, and one person asks the other, "Is it me? And, you know, am I getting older, or are they starting to play really cool music in the grocery store?" Phoenix Covenant, Cry Havoc, Ratland, New York Slice, all incorrect. Incorrect. Ryan isn't here. That is true. All right. Here were the clues once again. It comes from the year 2017. That's your first clue. And that cat was let out of the bag before I even said it by other of your compatriots in the chat. And then the 2 mechanisms involved were Take That and variable player powers. Cosmic Encounter. No, that's not correct. Civilization, A New Dawn. No joke at all. I actually complimented them on the choice of music. That's funny. I don't know that the coffee shop that we go to all the time would do that. I actually bought this from Dutch Bros. That's the only other coffee shop we generally go to. Well, I can't say that. There's another one that we go to frequently called Auto Mocha. Whenever people give us like gift cards for it, we'll go there just to use the gift cards. But generally, if we're paying for it, we're going to Steamers West, or we're going to Dutch Bros. And this is from Dutch Bros this morning. But they won't play it because it's not hip enough, you know. And then Steamers West probably would never play Metallica in there. There's just how can I say this without sounding? They're just not Gen Xers. Let's just put it that way. The Godfather, Downforce, Monopoly Gamer? No. Civilization, New Dawn? No. Smash Up? No. Good night, you people. I'm going to have to give you more clues. What is wrong with you? Ryan, where are you? Let's see. All right, I'll give you the category. It's a card game. Okay, does that help? So it's a card game that has Take That and variable player powers, and it comes from 2017. You should be able to get it now. The Expanse board game, no, but that's fun. I do like that game. Quest for El Dorado, no. Presidential Knife Fight, no. What in the world? Sakura, no. Also good game. Terraforming Mars, also not correct. Tournament of Camelot? Forest of Fate? Camelot? Well, there you have it. Alexander Meldrum. Drink, drank, drunk. Bemused. Century Spice Road. No, all incorrect. Alexander Meldrum got it correct. Tournament at Camelot. Tournament at Camelot. Wow, Coup, Statecraft, Pandemic Legacy. The 20 to 30 second delay is amusing because after I've already announced it, you guys still keep pouring in the guesses. So Alexander Meldrum, you got it. You got it correctly, and it took very long, but you got it. So congratulations. So what I need is for Alexander to let me know whether he wants us to send him another surprise because he has one recently, or he does have the opportunity to give his winnings away to somebody else in the chat who has not yet already won or who hasn't won in a while, whatever things he does. But whomever is the person that chooses, whether it's Alexander taking the prize for himself or if he chooses somebody else, Flipside, obg@gmail.com, you need to send me your shipping information. So here we go. Basically, this is a Tournament at Camelot by Ken Shannon, Karen Boginski, and Jody Barbesi. In the time of King Arthur, knights displayed their skill and prowess at tournaments held throughout the land. In this game, you play as a legendary character or a protagonist, battling opponents with weapon cards, arrows, swords, deception, sorcery, and even alchemy. The more you injure your opponents, the better you fare in the tournament. However, even the most injured characters can make a complete comeback with the grace of godsend cards and the aid of their special companions. This trick-taking game ends when one opponent has been injured to the point of death. The player with the most health is then declared the tournament victor. So that's what you have here. Let's go ahead and go down to the table, and we will see how things look. So here is the box. First of all, I really like the old English style of artwork that was done here. I really think it was a neat idea to do that. So as we open up, it is by WizKids. It's for ages 14 or older, 3 to 6, and so forth. Now, I'm wondering, graphic design, okay. Yeah, doesn't look like they actually used an artist. They just had a graphic, and they used old English pictures, I guess, for all of the different stuff. But as you can see here, there's not a whole lot going on as far as the rules are concerned. It is, may I say, just, quote unquote, a trick-taking game. So if you understand trick-taking games, you understand the basic idea of what's going on. But generally speaking, whenever you take wounds at the end of the hand, you're going to be moving your health down. And as you can see, you start with a lot of health, but you're going to be losing that health pretty quickly. And so there's that. So those are all of the rules. And then all of the different cards. Why is this out here? Oh, these are the little tokens and whatnot. So it does come with quite a number of cards. And there isn't a flashy, you know, insert or anything like that because it is just a card game. But you have a number of different kinds of things going on here. So arrows, which will actually cause wound damage, and deception and sorcery. And there's different kinds of suits that are in here. And alchemy cards basically count as whatever suit you want them to count as. But you have that idea that's in here. So all of these cards are in here, and these are the cards that are used for the different trick-taking things that are going on. So you do have certain cards in here that will be like companions. And so this one, for example, Merlin, he's a meddling sorcerer. When played in a melee, assign any suit and value to this card, even one that has already been played. When taken in a melee, it's worth 25 injury points. So this is a card that you want to use and not get stuck with. Because it's going to cause 25 points worth of damage when you take it. Makes sense. So in here, and one of the cool things about it is that, yes, there are colors attached to each of the different things. So you've got blue for swords, you've got gray for sorcery, green is deception, yellow is arrows, and that's pretty much it. But you also have the actual symbol that goes along with it. So it is colorblind friendly. Just to give you another idea, the Sorcerer's Apprentice here. When played in a melee, assign any suit and value to this card, even if it's already been played, so very much like Merlin, but it's only worth 5 points of injury. So again, you don't want to take this, but it's much more worthy of taking this one than this one, and you kind of get the idea there. Now, you also have these cards in the game that are actual, you know, these are the protagonists, the people that you can actually be within the game. So, for example, if I'm Mordred here, whenever Deception is not the lead suit in a melee, you can play any Deception cards from your hand onto the table instead of playing a card from the lead suit. Your card does not compete in the melee, but the loser still must take it as a weapon hit. So that's an ability that you as Mordred always have. As Gawain, all the weapon cards played shall remain on the table. When you play a deception card and lose the melee, all of the weapon cards played shall remain on the table to be taken by the player who loses the next melee. All right, so that's a special ability that Sir Gawain has. And so all of these different protagonist ideas that are out here, I can add 3. As King Arthur, you can add 3 to the value of any sword weapon you play. And that's a thing that you always have. It gives you an idea of what the kinds of things, the variable player power that the game is. Lancelot is coupled with Guinevere. The Will of God is coupled with Holy Knights. The Green Sash is coupled with an additional there. So Excalibur goes with King Arthur. So if you play King Arthur, let's find him again. If you play King Arthur and you use the companions, so this is what your setup is going to be like. So you're always going to add 3 to sword cards while you play them. But then after your total injury, is recorded on your health card, tally the injury you've taken from sword cards for the tourney round. Double that amount. All of your opponents must add those points to their injury totals. And so the threshold of use is 200. So you can't use this until you reach 200 health. So it gives you an idea of the kind of twists that are thrown into the different things there. So you have protagonists, and they are coupled with companions, and then these are all your different health cards. So you'll start on this side with 400, and you'll go down and go down and go down, and then it'll flip over. And once you become feeble, you hit 200, well then now you can start using, for example, Excalibur has that threshold 200. So pretty much, it's kind of like a catch-up. So this is a really neat thing, a really neat trick-taking game that I really enjoyed over the past. These Godsend cards are cards that you'll be able to get from time to time that are also catch-up mechanisms, and they'll basically level the playing field, give you other things that you can do throughout the course. This is a game that I've really enjoyed over the past, and so in the past. So I just wanted to highlight that for you, because it's one of those things that just it really always kind of sat as being one of those kinds of games that I really enjoyed. But hopefully that makes sense. Let's see here. Alexander Meldrum says, you sent me whales last time. Does somebody else want my winnings? All I want is a mug. I'm not sending mugs. I want a whale, Andrew says. Andrew wants my prize, it looks like. All right, fine. Andrew can take it. Andrew, you need to send me your shipping information. Trick taking. Thumbs down. Oh, yeah? To you, Vanessa. Let's see. Thanks, Sam. Good luck to next guest has got to go. Good night. See you later, Micah. Have a good day. Or a good night, rather. I remember when this was one of the big card trick-taking games. I felt like it fell into obscurity super fast. Yeah, unfortunately so. I thought that this was a really neat game to play. And I think that it's a shame that it did go to it did go to ground pretty quick, which is one of the reasons why I want to show it on this channel. All right, so I'm just putting these away. We'll get on with the next one. I'll even do this. Boom. Just like that. Oh, everybody had their own health markers and all of that other kind of stuff. I didn't show those, but that is what happens. All right. There is an expansion that, or rather another iteration of it called Tournament at Avalon. So you can look into either of those. Never heard of this one. I avoided trick-taking games until Fellowship came out. Sound clipping for anyone else? Sorry. Is it my audio cutting out or is it Sam? Sound's going in and out. It's happening to me as well. I thought it was on my end. Maybe back. No, it's not. It's just sometimes it does. Is it still happening? It's back. Time to switch mics. Okay, I will. I don't know why it does that. I don't know why it does this. But I will. I will. All right, hopefully this is better. Because I don't have another one. Sam is way behind in chat. No, I'm caught up. I just read that. Seems better now. Let's keep chat going longer. He will never make it through. Yes, I will. I will make it through, Andrew. Third law of streaming is that things stop working when you're not paying attention. Yeah, that's true. Of course, now it stopped glitching. Well, I've got a new thing on there. We are into the far future of Sam. True. That is true as well. I would narrate this game as A Knight's Tale. The spirit has left, but the stench remains. Yes, that's correct. Alter says, I like trick takers, plus the Knights of the Round Table theme is awesome. Nice medieval art. Lots of text on the cards, though. That is true. It is heavily language dependent. Future Sam. Let's give him the winning lottery numbers. No. Now that Sam is crazy rich YouTuber, he can afford an overhead mic that doesn't need batteries. Well, here's the thing. I used to use overhead mics, and they gave a lot of problems. And I'm not rich, and I'm definitely not rich enough to afford a good overhead mic. So the ones that I did have, I used to have a lot of shotgun mics. I used to use two of them, as a matter of fact. One, basically over here and one over here. And just kept running into sound issues. I had trouble catching too much sound too much ambient sound, and so I just stopped using them. And but you know, mics are expensive. Good mics are expensive. Being the Detroit fan that you are, have you played Final Girl, the Falconwood Files already? Yes, we've actually streamed them here on the channel. Falconwood Files are basically the Stranger Things context, and I love the Stranger Things show. So I wouldn't say I love it, but I have enjoyed it. I am looking forward to the last season that's coming up. I'm interested to see how it all works out. Definitely enjoyed the Metallica tie-in from last season. I thought that was interesting, but Metallica probably made a lot of ching from that. Because if I know anything about Lars Ulrich, he did not let that go without a lot of money attached to it. But I mean, rightfully so. I'm not decrying. I'm just pretty sure Stranger Things had to pay a good amount of ching to get that put into their show. Eric used to be the boom mic guy till he kept hitting Sam with it to get him to move on. I know, right? That got very, very annoying. All right, let's go ahead and get to the second one here so that we can get going. This one, go ahead and close Tournament of Camelot. And the next one, this is from 2018. See, there he goes. Not always 2017. So 2018 is the year that this game comes from. And a couple of the mechanisms that are used is, let's just go with variable player powers. That's a regular one. And let's go with contracts. So variable player powers and contracts are two of the mechanisms involved. And then you also have the year 2018. So let the guessing commence. Shall we? So good. It's really like chocolate milk. There's very little coffee in it, which is why I like steamers a little bit better. But Dutch Bros gives us more, so it lasts longer. So, Western Legends, as the guessing begins. Western Legends is incorrect. Architects of the West Kingdom, no, that's not correct. Two people guessed that one. Root, no. Coimbra, no. Architects of the West Kingdom, again, no. Elam of Sand, what is that? Elam of Sand. I don't know what that means. Smiths of Winterforge, no. Endeavor Age of Sail, Realms of Sand, Realm. Terrier Halo says, oh, okay, so Terrier Halo was saying Realm of Sand. Got it. David Brownlee says Realm of Sand. Peter Rowan says Zaya. Smiths of Winterforge again. Ceylon. Teotihuacan. No, that's not what you said, Andrew. You didn't put Teotihuacan. You put Teotihuacan. My goodness. Did you not spell that correctly on purpose? Well, without any further, Detective Otter says, well, here we go. Even though he misspelled it first, he did correct himself. And I did know what he meant when he said Elam of Sand. And so Realm of Sand is actually the correct one. So Terrier Halo, you are the winner. Very well done. Terrier Halo was the first to incorrectly spell, but correctly guess Realm of Sand. Rising Sun, derp. Forum Trajanum, no, Eric. TI4, David, you did that just because Eric shot in there. Terrier Halo says, woo! There were only 3 options when searching BGG. So why were there so many different things? So good. I know. Anyway, Realm of Sand says the Realm of Sand, the source of magic in Ragusa. has started dying. With the realm in peril, time bends and reality shifts uncontrollably in the physical world. The Queen of Ragusa embarked on a journey to the realm of sand to save her home. While she travels the plane, awaking the power of the glyphs, you, as a royal magician, must act quickly to assemble those glyphs and stabilize the magic to reconstruct the realm of sand. Who will help the queen save Ragusa and become the hero of the sands? And so this is what we've got. It's a 1 to 4 player game, 30 to 60 minutes, and 10 or more as far as the age is concerned. This is from one of my favorite board game companies called Emperor S4. They are in Taiwan, and they're good people as far as that is concerned. They've been very generous over the years, and we got a lot of their stuff in at the Dice Tower, and I've been able to talk to them a couple of times at Gen Con in Essen, and they're just good people, you know, good folks. So Realm of Sand, let's go ahead and get down to the table and take a look. Let's see. Wait a minute. I thought I was going to sneeze. Okay. Another one in my collection. I need to be faster. Well, I know when you guessed it, I knew that you had it in your collection because you usually only guess games that that you have in your collection, or rather, you do that first. Let's see here. First time I actually using a second screen in BGG and still couldn't get one, Philip says. English is my second language. Realm is really hard to spell. Okay, that's cool. Sand in Swedish is spelled sand, so that I got. English is my first language and Realm is still hard to spell. Wait, are you a vizier? Are you the villain in this game? No, you're the good guy. Not all viziers are bad guys in stories. Just in one of the main stories that a vizier took part in, he was a bad dude. I'm quitting my job so I can use BGG to search. I'll never win using Google. With all that backstory, I only remember it being polygon placement. That is correct. Bless you. Yeah, thanks. That didn't help because I never actually sneezed. But I know when somebody, if you're about to sneeze, just somebody say bless you and then they sneeze. It's not always the case. Although I'm probably going to sneeze now in about 30 seconds. All right, so let's go ahead and get down to the table and we shall take a look. So this is the English, and then you have the, I believe, Mandarin. We'll throw that away. But the rule book is such as this, and yes, there are polygons that you're going to be placing out onto the table. There was another one that's very much like this called Monolith that Simon Games has put out, and it has a very similar system where these are put out and you basically are able to move from one place to the other. Your starting point is here and you can move this a certain number of pieces, and then that's the thing that you take. And then on your board, you are trying to come up with these different configurations of these colors, and once you get that configuration out there, you can claim this card, and that will get you points and so forth and so on. So you start with 3 that are out there, and you start with your board here, but we'll get to that in just a few moments. It's a pretty neat game, frankly. It's a great spatial organization game. And so these are all of the different player cards that you have available to you. So you have a couple of different sides on them. I believe this is the standard side, and then you have an advanced side on this side that you can use. So, and if I'm not mistaken, maybe this is the standard version. Yeah, because it's the same. This is the standard version on this side, and then you can flip them over for asymmetric grids, and all of that kind of stuff. So these are all of the different player boards that you can have out there. And I believe one of these is a... you also have special abilities that are out down at the bottom that you can put into play as well. So you either play standard or advanced. These are all of the different, I'm going to keep these in here for now, but because these are in here and I don't want to mess things up. But basically you have all of these out here, and they're in a circle, and then all of the other cards are kind of put inside that circle, kind of like what you, well, very much what you saw in the thing here. And you're able to go a number of you know, spots around the board that gets added to your board. And when you add it to your board, you have to put it in such a way that it kind of fits one way or another, kind of like so, or what have you. And you're generally needing to stay within inside your parameters. So it is one of those things where it's just a neat puzzle to figure out. So you have 3 different levels of cards. You have easier ones here. Basically, if you get this configuration down here onto your player board, then you can claim this card, and it's going to be worth 2 points, and so forth and so on. Then you have level 2 cards, which are basically more difficult. They cost, you know, they have more places down here. They're going to be worth more points, and so forth and so on. But you kind of get the idea, where you're trying to get these configurations of that color onto your board. And once you do, you can claim this card, and those things are wiped away, I believe. Then level 3 cards are just worth a truckload of points. But again, the configurations of things that you have to have on your board is quite involved. But you get the idea. Okay, so that's the gist of it. You're going to be going through and choosing a tile to place onto your board, using those tiles in different ways to get those different, to claim those different cards, and then after a certain number of rounds, how many rounds is there? There are also these little markers here that will help you complete these little wooden markers here. Let me just go ahead and take these out real quick. Alexander had to take off. Sorry. Thanks for being here. Here's the little vizier token that you have to move around. And then these are wooden tokens that you'll be able to claim. They're given, and when you get when you finish some of these cards, you get them, and they're able to help you finish some of these different configurations as you do so. But you get the idea. All right. Okay, this needs to go back in here. But generally speaking, this is a neat puzzle. And if you've played Monolith from CMON, Monolith has a very similar feel, but it's a 3D game. This is not a 3D game. This is a 2-dimensional game. But I wouldn't knock it for that. I would just say that it has, you know, it feels more like a puzzle and less toy. There's less toy factor with this one, and this one feels more like a game than it does a toy. Whereas Monolith has a good game factor to it, game factor feel, but it also has a high toy factor as well. So that's Realm of Sand. All right, let's see here. I love how elaborate some of the backstories for games, and yet the games are abstract. Yeah, pretty much. Name one story where the vizier isn't the villain. Realms of Sand. There you go. Some of those backstories could make for interesting books. That is correct. Andrew Phillip, Realm of Sands, duh. Speaking of jobs, got to get back to mine. See you later. Emily is the queen of ragu sauce, but that's entirely different. You might also like Patchwork Cottage Garden, Indian Summer, and that spring one Doug has but is missing from my collection. Yes, Spring Meadow. Yep, that's it. Gnome Hollow, is David having a convo with himself? Yes, pretty much. That's normal. Just let him go. He's keeping himself entertained. That is correct. I've neither played this or Monolith. Noonertech is a really cool game with 3D stacking blocks. Thanks for the stream, Sam. You are welcome, Peter. Thank you for being here. We are going to get out of here pretty quick, but I do want to make sure that... so Terrier, Halo, you need to give me your shipping information, my friend. Flipside OBG at gmail.com. And let me know. Trial of the Temples, also from S3, is still on the shelf of shame. Ooh, I got a few Emperor S4 games. I think their games really go under the radar. They do, and that part of the reason is because they're out of the Asian board game market. And for games to come over here from there, it's a little bit more difficult. And I don't know why. It's just that when they come out over there, there's just a different palette for board games in that part of the world than there is over here. But a lot of people over here like those games, and I don't know why. I've really enjoyed, on a very common thread, most of their games. Some of them have just been too light, some of them have been too heavy, but most of them just hit that mid-weight level just right for me, and that's why I've liked a lot of Emperor S4 stuff. So Hanamakoji is my favorite. Yeah, that is one of their best. One of their best. So that has been mail already sent. Well, thank you, Terrier. I appreciate you. Perfect timing. We're going out to eat in a bit. Very cool, Vanessa. Have a good day. Thanks for being here. Thanks for a great stream as you always, Sam. Thank you. I love hanging out with you. Thanks you very much, all of you guys. Have a great day, everyone. And hey, make it a point to be nice to somebody today in any way, shape, or form, even if they don't deserve it. Just do it because it's the right thing to do. We'll see you guys and gals on the flip side. Take care, y'all.